Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and install the wheels, wheel axles and wheel pants onto the landing gear, and then the landing gear onto the plane. I've got this side most of the way done, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my other landing gear here. We're going to start with our axle, and we're going to remove the collars and the nut from the axle, and simply place the threads of the axle from the outside of the gear in through the hole, and then tighten the nut down onto the threads. And using a 9mm and 10mm wrench, tightening those down so the landing gear is sandwiched between the axle and the nut. Now we're going to install the wheel. So first we're going to install one of these collars and move it about a 1/4 inch away from the landing gear, and tighten that one down using some Loctite on the threads, and then put the wheel on, then the other collar, and push the collar all the way up against the wheel with just a touch of space, so when you tighten it down the wheel has free movement. And that's done, again using Loctite on those threads as well. Alright guys, now we're ready to install the landing gear onto the bottom of the fuselage. And the way this is set up is there's 2 blind nuts for each half of the landing gear. There's 2 blind nuts on the inside, and then the outside bolts go through the fuselage and through an aluminum L bracket, and then get tightened down with nylon nuts. So these inside ones you're going to want to use some thread lock, and the outside ones you do not need to because they're nylon nuts. So go ahead and put a little bit of thread lock. And then one other thing is that each landing gear here is actually a left and a right. Even though they look pretty similar, if you look closely, each landing gear is slightly swept on one side. You want that sweep to sweep up towards the front and not sweep back. So make sure that's you got the right side, left side on the left side and right side on the right side, and then tighten those down. And lastly, on the landing gear, we're going to go ahead and install the pants. The blind nuts are already installed, so all you have to do is line these up, put a little bit of Loctite on your bolts again, then line up the bolts with the holes in the landing gear and in the pants, and tighten them down. Doesn't get much easier than that.